Times have been tough, no doubt about it. Tough on all of us. But you know what? So be it. The Workers Club. I love the name.
Okay, so the riot has just happened, and Sean is telling him how 2% of the people still think it's real. And she's got, the quote, "It's a fucking male soap opera." So.
Yes, and he kind of, I felt like it's like, oh, is this guy really putting that in there? See, he's got all the defenses you'd run into typically from anybody in this book. When somebody's like, it's fake, which is family, that's a big bugaboo.
Yeah.
It's fake. Let's see, where are we here?
Him and Shauna look at the stars, who cares?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But then a voice speaks to him that's not like his own voice. There's that whole thing. Where, is that what you thought it would be, Michael? A voice came from somewhere ahead of me. I struggled for an answer.
I think that's her.
He's dreaming, though.
Oh, he's dreaming?
Yeah. So that's some bizarre stuff. Because he's dreaming about how he privately hates wrestling. Because there was a day a show was canceled and he was happy.
Oh, that's right. I had here when she's driving around in the desert and she whips the car and runs out. I was like, this is 2000 and he's got the manic pixie dream girl. He's writing it down. This wild woman who's changing, making him think about things. So then, his buddy says, "Hey, where are you? We got an offer from the Southern Wrestling Association."
BJ, the black guy who doesn't want to do headbutts.
And yes.
So they're going to the Southern Wrestling Association, which I was hoping was Smoky Mountain.
Yeah, it's Memphis.
Yeah,
and he does put in here, "I'm like Jack Kerouac." And then he goes, "Well, I never read any of his books, but I do know one says on the road." When I was like, you know what, that's kind of stupid funny. But I don't think he thinks this guy is stupid. I don't think he thinks he's stupid. I can't tell. See, there's these times where I'm like, is this guy actually kind of funny or kind of low key? If you would have kept doing it, not doing it where he's writing about I'm Bukowski, I'm running around. But I don't know, trying more fiction, maybe he would have figured something out.
I mean, the next paragraph's great too. A roided up Jack Kerouac.
Yeah, he sets it, yeah. Yeah. And then which reminds me, time for my shot.
Yeah.
He takes the shot. And he does this thing that he does with everything we've been talking about it, where the sun, he comes up to the sun and he's getting wistful. He's like, oh my gosh, is it going to this? I'm afraid the abrupt brightness would reduce me to ashes. Yeah. And his friend's just like, all right, come on, let's go. So then he gets Southern Wild Man, and this is where he brings up that he's back in flashback mode, and his theme music is a loose instrumental interpretation of Eye of the Tiger.
Which, that's kind of what Sting's first theme is.
Yeah. And so he's fans love it, he says. And then he says, as a single, it reached number 9 on the charts. And I was like, too much. No, man. No way. First of all, in this book universe, Eye of the Tiger exists. Why would a copy that's a loose instrumental version climb anywhere near the top 10?
That's how hot.
That's how hot he is. He's above Hogan.
Madman Mike Michaels. What's his...
I can't remember what his name is at this point. That he says it probably in the first one. Which this, by the way, at Slam Fest when the song is, usually he times it out. and it's a 3-minute and 30-second song. This cart thing, he's not even halfway to the ring, and 3 minutes and 30 seconds have passed. He's got to go another 3 minutes and 30 seconds down to the ring. That is they're long now. Entrances are long now, but I can't. I think this is what 89 or 90, early 90s.
Yeah.
6 minutes. You're watching this guy come down the road, and he's just like, hey. Then he comes back. So now we're gonna meet
the Prince.
The Prince, Billy Rampart.
Which, okay, I mean, this first sentence is weird because he goes, Louisville, Kentucky sports arena earned its affectionate nickname Rough Arena.
Which is lazy, but okay.
But that's the Rupp Arena, right?
That's what I thought, and then I was like, I could not find.
But he never really
anything.
says that, so he doesn't say what it's a nickname for.
No, he says he does that thing where he does it later. He'll be like, so and so was telling me that you took a beating here. That's a rough loss in this arena, and I'm never gonna lose like that again. And that's how it got its name. Which geez. I don't think Jerry Lawler ever cut a monumental. I could be wrong in the Rupp Arena, and
right.
Some kind of nickname.
Because he does mention the Mid-South Arena later.
Yes.
So I don't know why they're so fixated on the Rupp Arena.
Yeah, he does. He brings up the Rough Arena a few times where I keep going, is this supposed to be a place?
Right.
So
he's talking about, I'm sorry, the Prince Billy Rampart is our Lawler stand-in, and he has a beautiful face with features that manage to look both defined and reckless.
Yes. He brings it all up. He's as famous as the king, or the king is the king, but he's the prince, and he's got a son that he feuds with, Adam Prescott III.
He draws.
Yeah, oh gosh, yes. He calls the dressing room dressing quarters. He wasn't tall. He's got a pot belly. He's an untoasted marshmallow. He went to a doctor every 12 months, he told me, to get his forehead sanded down. What?
I don't know what that means.
Is that something that Jerry Lawler maybe told somebody? Like, I was like, he had to have worked with this guy.
Yeah.
He just has he just took a lot. I don't know. Because again, I was like, this is 2000. Is it that, like, to write about it where he's like, hey, he draws too?
Yeah.
That's kind of a self-portrait, he said. Oh, so then he offers him dip, and I just rolled my eyes at this, as though offering me a glass of wine. And I was like, I've been offered dip in my life. I know people that do. They've never offered it to me like a glass of wine. Let's see. Oh, this is 2000. So BJ, the black guy, his friend, who doesn't like headbutts because he's black, he describes that his gimmick is a psycho dentist, and Jerry Lawler, Billy Rampart, lights up about this. He nods eagerly. I like what I'm hearing. And then he brings out the outfit. He goes, "Oh, I love it." Yeah. And so then I guess maybe he's saying that I really took this as this guy is trying to tell us in 2000 that in his dealings with him and his people he came up with and worked with over the years, he saw Jerry Lawler. He saw a buddy of his with a psycho dentist, and he took it to the WWE and gave it to goddamn Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then he says, "I'll be a wild man."
Yeah, because they already have a rocker.
Well, he pitches, "I'll be the wandering weapon." Billy Rampart's like, "What?" And then so he goes, "Wandering wild man." He goes, "Just stop with the wandering thing. You're just the wild man, okay?" Yeah. And he goes up against Flatliner Nelson, whose backstage nickname was Flatulence, because he's farting in the ring, I guess. And,
hilarious.
Yeah. So while they're down south, him and his friend.
Well, he gets into his gimmick during this first.
Oh, he likes it. Yeah, he does like it.
him and his friend learn there's no somas in the South. You got to do Valium.
Yep, and Quaaludes, and they wash him down with Jack Daniels, and so they're both sitting around, I guess, getting nice and toasty, and BJ says, "Valium is nice," and he shoots back, "Valium is very, very nice," and he admits, this is the usual banter between the two of them when they're downing Valiums and beers, and
what a life.
They're hanging out. BJ falls asleep. They're in his car because that's where they're staying, and they're not going to waste their money on hotels. And this kind of stopped me in my tracks. BJ snored like a horny wildcat.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, I say that a lot in this book. What? What's that even? I don't know what that sounds like.
No, I don't know.
And I don't think if you grew up in Chicago, Illinois, Gus was here. I'd love to ask him. You guys get a little horny wildcats up there in Chicago?
Yeah. But he buys a Chevy Cavalier. That's very important.
Oh, and he does a thing here. He goes into parentheses, which is, I'm like, I'm in your thoughts. Why is this an aside? Parentheses. An investment I only half-jokingly referred to as getting my own apartment. And then he does the joke after kind of like parentheses.
Boy, you're right. That's weird.
The idea of a joke, and then he does the joke, which I guess I was just a wink at the book and go, my apartment was a 1985 Chevy Cavalier.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't need that sentence.
I didn't understand. I was like, parentheses. So I was like, okay, is this him? Is this Ben Peller now? But I wonder too if this either comes off like a sentence he just wrote and didn't even look back on, or he wrote, my apartment was a 1985 Chevy Cavalier, and someone's like, your apartment? What do you mean? So he's like, fuck it. And he puts his parentheses in. I said it was a half joke sometimes. So he likes his car.
And he talks about the filth.
Yep. Yeah. He's just living in the car, and he loves his new character. There's a guy, Pee-wee's Duncan, which I think is probably Hillbilly Jim. Is he supposed to be a hillbilly Santa Claus?
Oh yeah, I didn't know
who
was. I didn't even care about this whole match. Who cares?
Yeah, no, yeah. He goes on. He's spitting. Yeah, he's spitting chew. I ask him to stop.
Yeah, I mean, again, more guys. Just I don't know.
He's getting his hair cut, or no, he goes to get stitches, and she goes, "Hey, my son watches you on the TV." And he responds, he growls and barks at her.
I'm embarrassed for him in that.
It's one of those things where he's like, this is cool, and it's like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
So you really are crazy. And he glowed inside.
So it's Christmas time.
Yep. He's got an orange mohawk, but he's got long hair still, I think. He shaves the sides, puts the top into like a mohawk and orange. He's banged up, he's bruised up, he's roided out, he's pilled up. He comes home, he's looking forward to go back to Chicago, and he tried to let her know that, hey, I look crazy now. Yeah. But she thought it was a wig that he was wearing on his head.
She's very disappointed in him.
She says it looked fake. Fake? I stammered. He's starting to get triggered. Fake. Fake. Like everything else in that thing. Wrestling's not fake. It's known as a word.
That's the dumbest comeback.
Please. Have some decorum, Mom. And then she goes, what are you doing to yourself? And so he just growls at her. And then she just goes, you're getting way too big. And then she's like, what are you doing? And,
no, the picture of the sun approaching the small building is hanging. I howled at it.
He howls at it. And she's like, what's happening? And he goes, it's part of my gimmick. Is this what you've turned yourself into? She shrieked, a gimmick! I look back at the picture. So he just goes, dawn or dusk. He goes back
That's
to
the
that
out.
well.
That's the ripcord to get out of Mom.
Yep. And she's like, what? And he says it again, and she just goes, I don't know. I don't know. So she's over it. And so he goes over to his friends to see how they're doing. And they're like, hey, we're partying in college. And he says, what's that like? And they're like, yeah, people hanging out, you know.
I know, it's weird, though. He says 25-year-old seniors going after 18-year-old freshmen.
25 seniors, that is concerning.
I was older than that. But...
An 18-year-old friend. But also, yeah, it seems like...
Actually, I just outed myself. Because I did exactly that. Anyways, he describes, they ask him what's wrestling like.
So they go, what's wrestling parties like?
Yeah.
And he goes, bunch of big guys taking pills, drinking, and passing out. And then as he says it out loud, he has... I wish there's more of it in this book when he's like, I grounded her. Yeah. He gets self-aware when he describes the parties because then he goes, that doesn't sound so great.
I like the introspection there.
Yeah. But his buddy, this took me aback. His buddy Marty gets very interested when he talks about pills, and there's a reason. Because this is the first we've ever heard of this. So I assume this was a new thing that his real friend picked up in college. Which, yeah, I can see that happening. Sure. It's not brought up in high school. But then the way he relays it it's always been like this. Marty's always done this. It's like, no, this is new information about Marty. You also just learned. And it's Marty keeps a pocket of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He keeps in his pocket this book. And he does it so he can like read to you. He reads passages to you. And he says, they take all kinds of pills in here, tapping the cover lightly as though he didn't want to disturb the world inside. I was like, that would be more of a brush, I guess. I'm brushing the cover right now. You wouldn't even want to tap it if you didn't want to disturb the world inside. I was like, this guy, when he mashes on that keyboard. So then the friend runs off. Okay. And his buddy's kind of like, I think he's not doing so hot. And I'm like, where is this going? Oh, wow. His friend's insane now. And,
it's a weak payoff.
Yeah, all that happens, he comes back. And he brings out that he's like, hey, I got a quote for you. And it's on the first page. And he reads a Hunter S. Thompson quote. And our main character goes, cool. And then just...
Well, but the quote is, he who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man, and he's acting like a beast.
Yes. Yes.
But, I mean,
and this is also
we didn't need the 2 paragraphs setting that up. He could have just quoted that.
Why? Oh my gosh. You think it was that kind of like level of bad writing where he's like, I gotta have this in the book. I love this quote so much. I know who really likes Hunter S. Thompson's. It's Mr. Peller. And he's like, I got to have it in there. How do I get it in there organically? And organically, it's like, my friend.
Yeah.
But what's funny about that is it's kind of like that movie thing where it's always like, you don't want a movie to remind you of a better movie. And you're like, why are you saying it? And it's like in this book where it's like, you know what's a really good book about pills? Hunter S. Thompson's written some. And it's like, oh, why am I not reading that then?
Yeah.
So
he talks shit. He talks shit about his friends' bodies.
Yes. This guy, I think this speaks to Mr. Ben Peller. The way he goes in on some people, and then the other people, like nobody. If you have some weight on you're getting called out. Or if you have sharp features.
Yeah, but one guy's too skinny, so anything in between.
Anything, yeah. He's definitely got some body stuff that he presents as like, hey, I'm just describing it. He calls Shauna.
Yeah.
From his childhood room. And he does, in his room, he's like, oh, it's clean in here. That's what I don't like about it. I like living in the dirt. And he calls and he gets whisked away. Again, he's in the conversation, and he's like having a flashback within the flash forward, and wait, this is a flashback actually. If he's flashing, we went through this earlier. The flash forwards are in italics, which would mean usually you're thinking about something, but he's the italics are the future. And then he flashes back to this. So right now he's in a flashback in a flashback.
Yes.
He flashes back to Meredith Perkins, and I was like, oh, from prom. But no, it's a different girl with a full name. You get the full name. You get the description. And then it's like, I asked her out, and she said no. Okay. And he just kind of talks to Shauna.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's not interesting. So after they hang up, though, is what's fun. He recalled Shauna's throaty voice. I just want to read all this. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And this urged all my senses to life as they began to unify in a memory so complete that the sterile stink of my room was driven away, replaced by beer and the light trace of perfume she had been wearing that night we had talked. Mm-hmm. Patches of her body began appearing in teasing phases. Yeah. Her sinewy neck, alert breasts, and those gray eyes whose irises thickened like an increasingly dense sky. Yeah. I mean, come on.
They closed in on their respective pupils. Well, it would be weird any other way. I nodded. That thing, it's like that. It's almost like a Rule of 3 thing, practically, where he's like sinewy neck, alert breast, and he's like, yeah, those gray eyes, his irises thickened like it's like, oh, baby, he's like, yeah. And I love alert breasts. I mean, God forbid they're not alert. So then he's like, I'm gonna draw her ass.
Yeah.
And he looks at the white paper and he's like, nah, can't do it. And he leaves. And he takes his drawing kit, so he's got intention to draw.
Oh, okay, sure.
And he leaves his mom's gift. She got him one thing: 10 ways to prioritize your life. So she's fearing for it right now.
Yeah.
They get a raise.
Okay, but this is so stupid. He's wearing a costume out in public, a fake mustache.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought about that and I was like, God, am I gonna get into this with Larry?
I know, that's
what do you
all.
think? Well, I was like, my question would be to Larry, have you ever heard of a wrestler being like, I had to wear a wig?
No.
I mean, maybe. I've never heard of it, but maybe he must have, right? He's heard of it somewhere.
I think he's just reminiscing to a time of kayfabe that he came too far after.
I think, he is doing a little bit of that because he's kind of we looked him up, he's kind of more of like an early 90s guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. But another thing is there's these elements where I'm like, okay, he's experienced this, okay, now he's out to lunch, he's kind of like,
sure.
This is what I imagine it probably would have been if I would have kept going.
Right.
And this is one of those where I was like, I wonder if a guy ribbed him once and was like, yeah, I mean, wear wigs. It's crazy. Yeah. He's like, wow. He seems like in the book, he comes across as somebody that if Hulk Hogan told him anything,
right,
he's eating it up and going, you hear what Terry told me?
Yeah.
Rampart Lawler is having, which by the way, I figured that out. I took the time to be like, where is he getting Billy Rampart? And I was like, Billy, Jerry, that seems to be his go-to. He's just like, why? Yeah, why? And then Rampart, I was like, Castle, King.
Yeah.
But it was driving me nuts. I was like, Rampart. Which then I've spent probably the rest of everything I've read trying to figure out the names.
Oh. Well, no, this is so stupid. So, right, Rampart's making BJ do headbutts, which we know he doesn't like.
I was like, okay, so now we're getting some juicy stuff. Jerry Lawler's a racist. Heavens to Betsy.
It's just a way to get to BJ wanting to be Jesse Ventura and unionize the boys.
It does go to that. He does bring that up. BJ does bring up, by the way, it's no secret that everyone in pro wrestling assumes black people have hard heads. It's like, is he talking about the industry or the fans?
Yeah.
Because I was like, what? I mean, everybody in your business would be like, no, you don't have a hard head. It's fake.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know.
but yeah, while they're talking about the union, he's like doing that. He's like listening to other people. He's looking at cockroaches skittering on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, he's painting the ambiance of the deal, and he brings up that he keeps saying he'd wrestle for free. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know why he's doing this, but he kind of does. It makes him feel good. There's been a lot of circling. He hasn't really touched anything yet. He's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But
They get a place.
the cap
Okay.
off is, I'm crazy, I said, I guess. Then I gave a soft howl.
Which I took as just, I'll try to do that where he's just kind of, he's like, sitting in the bar and he's like, crazy, I guess. That's like, I don't know what else we would do. Like, he's sad at the moment. He's like reflective and sad. I give a soft howl.
Jeez.
Which I'm sure his friends again are like, oh boy. So they get a place and it was always well attended by quote unquote arena rats, and I'm like, no one's ever called them that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, there's these turns that he has, these turns of phrases where I'm like, that's not quite right.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, he wrote it in 2000, so like, did he just get a little taste? And no one said, maybe one guy said arena rats, and he's like the dumb guy in the locker room.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, arena rats.
But King says make sure they're 18.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so is this? Then I was like, wait, was it Jerry Lawler? Hold on, go back. Who is this?
Because there was a scandal where the 16-year-old daughter of a Tennessee senator, why? Who cares? Had attempted to elope with one half of a popular tag team, Ricky Morton.
My theory still is that he puts these little things where we're going, okay, why do we need this? Because they sound like wrestling stories you've heard or this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's heard them, and he wants to tell them because either like when he heard them, he was like, "Oh, that's a great story," but he doesn't have the time, so he puts these little blurbs and these little asides in, and you're supposed to be like, "Oh, I can't imagine if a person that didn't wrestling, they might go, oh, whoa, this is a crazy world." I kind of read them and go, yeah, okay. Anyways.
So he's describing the parties at the apartment and, people having sex, and this is where we get a little weird.
Yeah.
I liked the older women better, and always insisted on talking to them before sex.
Yeah.
Because their stories contained a tragedy which made their presence in this world so painfully acute.
I started like sighing. I was sighing as I read it. I was like, oh, God.
Well, but I think it connects to, remember, I think he was a gigolo in real life, Peller.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, because all of the older women were the ones eulogizing him.
Yeah. I mean, God, you might be right. But I also was like, and a lot of times in this book, his romantic encounters are always kind of offset by this, like him, like sitting at the edge of the bed with his hands on his feet, being like either like high or on drugs or he's like drunk. Sorry, and he's flashing back hard, or he's looking at the ceiling grooves, and he's like, what the fuck? And because it's like, he's describing like that he picks these women and he's like, I insist on talking to them and I need to know they're like, what? Why are you doing this? Why are you here? And it's like, well, they're always sad lives, and it's like, yeah. And he's always like, wow, another one that depressed me. Couldn't believe it. And then he's like, he tells a guy this, like, hey, this is what I do with women. I pick older women. And before I allow them, what they want is sex from me. But before that, I'm like, hey, what's the saddest thing that ever happened to you? What got you here? And then they're sad, and I'm depressed, and then we have sex. And he tells this all to the guy. And the guy's like, you're supposed to fuck rats, not talk to them. Then he just goes,
that's not even really clever.
Yeah. He goes, So he takes that, and then he goes, I just started saying that I'm impotent. That's I just started. I stopped.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like
Yeah.
that was his. How do I transition from me doing this to these older women to I just would sit in a corner doing what I described exactly. Like he just sits in the corner and bugs out, watching
Yeah.
everybody else. So yeah, that's eventually where that goes. Where it's like, yeah, like you brought up, his romantic conquests seem to be tainted with something. There's something lurking that he needs to address.
So he calls Shauna because he thinks he's overdosing on Valium. And she doesn't even really get that mad. She just says, "Go draw me a picture."
Yeah.
and he does that.
Which, okay, so she's like, she describes this, which I like that he's like bear trap memory for this after ODing. He ODs, and she's like, go 5 miles west down the bridge. You're gonna see some puddles. The sun's gonna be setting. There's gonna be puddles, and he's like, his tongue is like, and then she wakes up, and he's like, gotta get there.
Yeah.
He remembers it. He's like, well, I didn't die, and he goes out there.
Okay, right. He goes to draw the picture, and there's a one. While he's sitting there, kind of letting his hand do the moving, twisted orbs of light dance between my pupils and the dark vacuum that protected them.
Yeah, yes, he did. I mean, there's carpet of diamonds. There's like, he's going off on, and what he does is he's sitting on his car, I think, and he's looking out, and then he's closing his eyes, and he's drawing with his eyes closed, and then he's opening up his eyes, take another look, and then he's closing them again. The influx of light keeps kind of like, and then he's drawing again, and then he doesn't even look at what he drew. He just folds it up. He's like, good. He goes in his car, takes it out, and he goes, oh yeah, Valium is waiting for me in my own permanent death.
That's wonderful.
She's like, so then he sends it, he mails it to her.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for her to be like, did you draw this with your eyes closed? Because it's not very good. And she doesn't really give him much. She just can't believe he's still on Valium.
Well, she says you're hedging yourself.
She does go, oh, I think you're holding something back.
Right.
And he goes, eh? And then, well, he goes, you tell me.
Well, and then he talks about an ant scurrying across the floor.
He goes, you tell me. And then, trust me, I pictured this. I was like, this dude is scoping out an ant on the kitchen floor.
So
also, that's gross. He is living in the dirt if there's ants in his kitchen. But then he throws a shoe. So he's on the phone, and it's got a cord to it. We're in the 80s or late 80s, early 90s. And he has to take his shoe off, unless he kicked his shoe at it. Either way, he says I threw. So it means he grabbed the shoe off of his foot while he's on the phone. And he throws it, and he misses.
That reminded me of the sleaze story of Carrie throwing a saw blade at a cat. Just toned down a little
bit. He also does that thing he does in this book where he goes, I read somewhere. He puts a little weight in there. It's always, I read somewhere. And he puts it in the dialogue too. The guy will go, I read somewhere. Mom, I read somewhere that the Earth was going to die in 1,000,000 years. So then Shauna just hears all this. She hears like rustling and then like a shoe hitting the ground. Yeah. And then she goes, yourself. She waited. She answers his question or her question, and he goes, I'm gonna start feuding with Rampart. She's like, okay. Yeah. Then he puts a little excerpt from the magazine, which again, this dude loved Pulp Fiction. That's my guess. It would have come out a couple years prior than 2000. because this write-up is from the future, and then he goes back and explains
Right. Yeah.
what was happening. He loves doing that, where he's like, "Here's this person," and you're like, "Who?" And then 3 pages later, he'll be like, "Back to this guy." And it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
call.
guessing he's just of that era that he saw Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction. He's like, "That's how you gotta tell a story."
Yeah.
Non-linear. I can't say linear. I always say linear.
It's all right.
He brings up. Have you ever heard this Haze? He considered himself a Haze,
No, I've never
heel
heard.
half face, or a heel that gets cheered like a face. A Haze?
No. It's
Yeah.
not a portmanteau.
I've never heard that, and I was like, is this something he said? And it was met with an absolute silence in the locker room. I'm kind of a Haze, and they're like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, I'm a heel, but they cheer me like a face," and they're like, "Sure."
Yeah. But right, he's gonna turn on Lawler, and this is a lot of just.
He brings this up, and I take him at his word. He began to carry an umbrella down the aisle to protect him from all the stuff that's getting thrown at him. But I'm like, you'd go back the first time and they say, "Why do you have an umbrella?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm the wild man." Also, they're throwing stuff at me. And they'd be like, "No, why? You bringing an umbrella down is stupid."
I looked like a real dandy in Memphis with an umbrella.
Stop going at me.
All this tobacco juice raining down on me.
One wrestler, Jesse James Peller, he talks about hate mail.
Yeah, it doesn't
that little
matter.
child. So okay, this is one of those things.
Okay.
Where he has this little thing where I'm like, there's that little nugget there that go, the guy has this little thing in him where it was like, I can understand why he was like, God damn it, I'm good enough to write a book. The guy goes, a bunch of children wrote him that they hate him. He says, "Can you believe that? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that some great feat to make a child say they hate you?" And he writes, of course, this guy had no children of his own, which is implying that if you have your children, you will get a child to say they hate you very easily, and it's not any great feat. And I was like, okay, but then I thought to myself, oh, that's a nice little sentence. And then I thought, this guy does love his mom. He had a loving mother. I don't understand the father thing in this book, where the father's died of cancer, is my understanding. And then, but they treat it like he cheated and left the family. That's how they treat it. But he just had cancer and died. He was with the family.
But no pictures remain.
But so then it's like, why would this guy be so cynical about like the parent-child, where he's like, child will tell you to hate you pretty easily. It's like, you come from a fairly well-to-do family. You're manufacturing the dad stuff, but anyways, that's where my mind went with just that one where I was like,
no, you're right. You're right, because I didn't connect the two. When I read that, it was just like, he has no children. Okay.
You're right. And then I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this guy's hate mail.
Yeah,
like,
no,
to
it doesn't
illustrate,
really matter.
Like,
if you feud with Lawler, people hate you. That's all you need to do. Okay. That's all.
Then he's going to saw through the ring. Again, I was like, this is written in 2000. How many things were sawing through the ring?
Well, Taker did it in 95.
Does he with a machete, or he just crawls out?
He just crawls out.
That's where I'm like, did this guy maybe see something down south where they did something like this? A guy in a knife was
in my mind, it's the Renegade doing the Undertaker entrance. Because that's what this guy just reminds me of with his Wild Man, is the Renegade.
And we saw a picture, and you see a picture of him on a lot of his covers.
Yeah.
For his this guy, this fictional version of himself is definitely bigger than he ever was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which then says a lot when he's like, I gotta get big. Oh, I want to get big. When I was a kid, I wanted to get so big. And it's like, oh, this guy must have been like so annoyed that he was never going to be that big.
Yeah.
What she brings up, I expanded because so he's like, I'm so the wild man right now. I expanded the variety and amounts of steroids I ingested in order to increase my aggressiveness.
Yes. Yeah,
And
that was the next thing I had highlighted too.
His friend's like, are you okay? This friend who got him on steroids is like, okay, I understand taking them for the muscles and the injuries and all that, but you're saying what you've told me is that you're taking more kinds
for the side effect
because you want to feel that snap, that anger, that roid rage. I'm just concerned. You think you might be getting a little out of control? And he calls him Doc. Doc.
Yeah, it's like boss. But what's his response?
Oh, he's scroll.
That's it.
Which screw who? I'd be like, I'm one person. You saying screw him means you are in the thralls of addiction. You're seeing enemies on all sides.
Yeah.
He's loving it. He brushes his teeth. You better believe he doesn't like looking at himself in the mirror. So he's brushing his teeth with his eyes closed, which is like, this guy, he's always like, he's in his head. That much is known.
He hates himself.
He goes back to draw the picture, and I like that he writes, I was able to keep my eyes open while drawing. Good.
Birds were gliding inches above the water, their wings perfectly still. Then with one flap, they ascended into a blue playground on fire.
He just...
Nice.
And I like that he's kind of like, whoa, you know what happened when I opened my eyes? I'm taking it in, and I'm not forgetting it, because what was happening is I was closing my eyes, and I was like, wait, what? What was I looking at? I had to open it back up, but I'm just keeping them open, and I'm seeing the liquid surface. I'm seeing everything.
He is seeing armies of organisms seeking the unrestrained promise of air above.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, microscopic revolutions. This guy is he's having at it.
This is stupid too.
The picture was one I had never drawn before. It's shapes and colors that can felt and seen rather than assumed. And I was like, yeah, that would be. This guy is then just saying, I'm a bad artist. I'm horrible. I only draw assumptions. That means he can't, like, if you're like, draw a bowl of fruit, he's like, I don't know. There's even this. They're like, there's a vegetable in there. And he's like, I don't know. It's a bowl of fruit.
Yeah, I don't. This drawing subplot is losing me.
Well, guy. That's what I'm worried. The rest of the book is going to be like that, because this guy's definitely one of those, like, I'm actually kind of a sensitive artist underneath all of this.
Yeah. If it felt sincere, I'd go. I don't know. It doesn't.
You think it's a little bit like? Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit of a put upon. Like, it's definitely a guy that looks like this in Los Angeles, walking up to you and being like, "Oh, yeah, Bukowski. Yeah, I read Bukowski." And you're like, and the guy's like, "Who's Bukowski? You brought up Bukowski."
But then there's this stupid event where he goes home and a crazy woman is waiting for him with a knife.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And then she's paranoid, schizophrenic. It's like, again, this is 4 pages of him fighting with this woman.
The kind of like the way he writes it, the kind of pacing of it, because the guy he's high and drunk or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. What you're gonna say?
He's kind of trying to have a conversation with her, so that halts the danger of it. Because he's looped up.
No, see, I thought he was going to get blamed for it.
Yeah,
that's where I thought it was going.
It did look that way. Oh, I forget. He's not drunk or high. He just decides to be in character for a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah. Which in character, she says, God wouldn't punish me for killing you. And then he's like, what would Wild Man say? Yes, he would. And I was like, well, okay. But then he's like he wants to like know, why are you doing this? Who are you?
yeah.
But then meanwhile, he's trying to write that there's like, this is danger, this one's trying to kill me. And there's a guy that sees this and he's like, I know who you are. You're bad.
Yeah.
And so the cops take him in and they, reveal that the woman was an insane person. She's going to get committed. And then he brings up, there's 2% of fans that think it's real. And
Well, but he does something that if this happened in real life would be the most obnoxious thing. He mutters this under his breath, and it's an inside joke to himself.
Yeah.
You're free to go.
I highlighted the cops. I highlighted the cops' response.
Do what now?
Because it sounded like something that I would say to someone that was mumbling. Do what now? And then the cop shoots back and he goes, oh, nothing. Which is funny that he's just like, why would you even mutter this to yourself?
Yeah.
Kind of 2%. Because if he would have just said, the guy was like, do what now? And then he was just like, well, 2% of people think it's real, it's fake. The guy would be like, oh, yeah, she's great. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So pretty soon, the marijuana licked at my brain. I like that.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, in this next paragraph, so he says he wanted to have talked to her more because he feels he could have been like her because he was obsessed with wrestling. And he says this paragraph, but there was no way I would ever be able to ask her these things, to talk reasonably with her. We were enemies, separated by the very search for control that bonded us. Wow.
I know, deep stuff. I don't. God. No, I know. There's all these things where it's like, I'm definitely a fan of like what would you call it, punchy prose, of like getting to it, like boom, boom, and just like having nice lean sentences that are like boom and they hit you. I like little turns. I do like little turns of phrases, but then like, I definitely think sometimes this guy that does this, and I said this, I don't think this went through many drafts.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And it has those things that, like, if you're going, you're like, this makes sense at the time that this would be here. And then you go back and you're like, the fuck am I talking about? Like,
yeah, sure.
I'm not getting to the point. I've gone on
It's probably 240 pages with a real editor.
I mean, there's things.
And it'd be good.
I think so. I think if he also just focuses, there's things that he'll kind of bounce off of, but then it's buried in all of this, like, BG and I are talking, and he's kind of like these things about the family that he wants to say, and also I think some of it comes from like his dad didn't. This whole he manufactured that he wants the dad issue, but then he didn't want the dad to maybe be a bad. I don't know what's going on there. So he can't really get into the stuff like he wants.
So our last kind of subsection here, a real teaser. You get to call from the WWO.
It fast forwards from him telling Jerry Lawler that he wants to be a face, and then Jerry Lawler being like,
"Oh, that's right. Sorry."
And then he just goes 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So I guess why I got jumbled was because then now we have to think back to that article that he also was like, that's when they wrote this, and now it's 2 weeks. So now it's a little bit. I'd say what did I say? It was August of '89. It's a little bit forward, and the WWO called it the World Wrestling Organization, and they want to invite him to the corporate offices.
Who's they?
And they would be happy to fly me there and back first class.
No. But I mean, what's his name? Who runs the WWO?
Well, we'll get to it because this person is not. I believe it's just somebody.
Okay, I guess you're right. I tied them together because when he says we know you boys have a grueling work schedule,
Yeah.
Like, that's not something. Vince
Well,
has ever
that's
said.
just how I highlighted that because it was like, who's this person that he's talking to that kind of knows what wrestling is but works for the WWO?
Yeah.
Because he shoots at them when they're like, hey, when do you want to fly out? Here are your times to pick. He goes, sounds like you people have done this before. And he smiled into the phone. He liked what he said. And then this person's just being patronizing. You know, you boys have a grueling work schedule. And but then they point. Oh, then he puts. Yeah, he uses they. He's just as an executive. He invited me out.
Okay.
It's just an executive.
Yeah.
This guy goes, the World Wrestling Organization likes to give its wrestlers a little more time off. Our national television exposure makes it possible for us to do that. And I was like, what? I was like, so does he think this? Or,
I don't know.
Because then he's like, well, do you send me a ticket or should I pick it up? We'll send it to you. And we'll have a limo waiting for you. And I was like, is this like the number one prospect? Like, he has not portrayed himself
It gets
as
crazier.
the number one guy.
Yeah.
And so at this point, he decides to bring up the main rival of the WWO. It's never been brought up before. International Championship Wrestling, which is their Coke and Pepsi. Tony Khan highlighted this as well. It's like, yes, Coke and Pepsi, challenger brand. And we meet, finally, the owner of the WWO, Thomas Rockhart Jr.,
who is also chewing tobacco.
He does. And I was like, wait, huh? The driver's East Coast accent, blah, blah, blah. A lot of this is, it's true Sudi Steve level simping for like Vince McMahon and being like, actually, he had some pretty good ideas, and actually, those guys in the South were wrong.
I mean, what is his office was a 20-story building? Okay,
this caught me off guard.
Rocket shaped.
Yep.
I guess his name is Rock Art, and they called it the Crystal Ship. Why?
Yep. I don't know. I was like, I did picture the guy.
That?
Did you ever
I gotta go meet Tom at the Crystal Ship.
Because it's rocket shaped and made of glass, and I was like, this is an insane building for a wrestling promotion. Because I'm picturing Titan Towers very plain, and then I'm like, now this guy's in the 20th story of a glass rocket ship. To the point that it looks it's so rocket shaped that people have nicknamed it the Crystal Ship. And I did think, I was like, knowing full well that this did not happen, but Vince Gill again on Breaking Bad, reading this book, and working all the way backwards from that, going, what if a guy sold meth, and then in an episode I played this song? Anyways, then he describes Vince's office, and I was like, this guy was never in his office. But then I was like, maybe in the, like, he got a glimpse of something in the early 80s. Whenever we saw that he had, like, a few rounds. Would they have flown him all the way out just to sign his contract? I don't know. I feel like they would have mailed it to him.
Jack Lanza would have shook his hand.
Or, at the arena, been like, all right, here we go. True. I'm thinking he's signing a contract for 3 random appearances over a span of 5 years. At first I was like, I hate this description. This is like the description of every villain. Like a villain office.
The Globe.
But then I've got something about the Globe. But then in the end, he kind of turns it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a little shot at Vince McMahon a little bit. Okay.
Right, when he says that the fish died every week, and it was a gas fireplace.
Across an entire wall. So he walks in, so I'm guessing it's the first one he sees, and the entire wall is an aquarium housing miniature sharks and fish, and they all look like pieces of art to him. Then he looks behind him, on the opposite wall, and it's got a fireplace surrounded by bookshelves with all the classics. All of them. Right, they just stopped. So then I guess I'm guessing on his right, if he goes into a door, and on his right, because most of the picture, Vince's office is from the entrance.
Sure.
To your right. Is a massive mahogany desk that sat a globe that was at least 4 feet. That's like, I'm doing it with my hand. That is a large globe.
Yes.
Its circumference, and beyond that, a large framed window. So it's just that kind of short wall with window, probably half, or you know, not a half. You know, there's like a foot of actual wall, and that looks out on the city below. So he's picturing Vince. Yeah, he's tipping back in his chair, spinning that globe, looking out at the city, and he likes it. You know, he's thinking about it. He's like, this guy's pretty cool. So I laughed when I first saw the globe thing, but then I flashed back, like our character, to my childhood, and my uncle is a character who had when he was working out. He still does, I assume. He'll never retire. But I went to see him in his office. It was quite a large office for a large company, and he had a massive illuminated globe. And he pointed it out, like, well, look at the globe. It spins on its own, or you can spin it. And it was huge. And I was like, I definitely noted this room is kind of like big for one guy. And I was also like, that globe is huge. Why do you have such a big globe? So then I was like, man, did this guy see something similar? And I was like, that's what powerful men have, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, he just describes Vince. He's the play-by-play announcer. He's got a
black hair, dark
suits.
eyes. Yeah. Which dark eyes, I mean, that's been in other people that have not met Vince. The dark eyes, like, you know, his eyes are beady, or they're like, or shooting dagger. They're dark, stained. I do like he says he was about an inch taller than me. I have never in my life clocked anybody that is an inch shorter or taller than me. An inch is like that. Like, if I'm somewhat meeting at your eye level, I'm like, we're the same height.
Yeah.
You could be 5'9". I'm like, yeah, that's we're the same. I don't know. Yeah. He does think Vince is classy. He thinks Vince. He buys into the Vince as like a class figure because of the wealth.
Yeah.
He brings up a lot about his like sophisticated presence. Nothing this, or he'll bring up like it wouldn't be classy. He has $1,000 Armani suit. He brings up. So this is where I'm like, okay, he never would have been in Vince's office, and this is in 2000. He had to have heard about this because he goes. So then I was picturing the wall is a window, but then he goes, next to the window is an oil painting.
Yeah.
Sorry. But he has an oil painting, which is something Vince has, not in his office, or he didn't. You know, it was always told to be at his house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Of himself.
Yeah.
I'm a regular Dave Meltzer baby. I don't know how he did it all those months and weeks and years. Like 2 years where he was like, people were like, "Are you okay?" Before COVID, so he might have been the initial guy. No one has been. Everybody's like, "What's up with the cough?" He's like, "Oh my god." He's like, "I went to Japan." He came back from Japan with a cough, and it lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
So Vince is really schmoozing with this guy. They're having red wine.
Yes.
Yeah. They're discussing various aspects of professional wrestling.
Yeah. And I do like that Vince goes out of his way to say, I prefer to think of it as combining the best of both worlds of sports and entertainment. And it's like, okay. All right. This is written in 2000. Okay.
And then Vince says to him, pro wrestling is better than a bunch of country yokels with chewing tobacco caught in their teeth. He was just chewing tobacco.
Which in a better book, you would have been like, he hates himself and he hates his background. There would have been some panache leading up to that where he was like, I always heard this guy grew up in the Carolinas.
Yeah,
or something
right.
like that. But no, it's just like he's chewing tobacco because I think everyone now in 1989 is chewing tobacco.
I guess.
And they go, so then his hero, his wrestling hero.
They're going to go get lunch and they get on the elevator.
And Shoot shows up, but it's Randy Savage.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the Beastie. Because he was always like, well, Hulk Hogan was my favorite, but the one I like to watch wrestle was Randy Savage, who's Mr. Beastie. And I definitely pictured Vince and Randy Savage sitting there trying to like comprehend this meeting. Because he talks about like the dishes, which I love. Game of Thrones fan here. I love a good food descript.
Yeah.
And he describes a lot of food in those books. And here we got, for lunch, there was a fettuccine dish with chunks of salmon and lobster swimming in Alfredo sauce. You don't like the swimming? That's a lot of sauce. But he didn't taste a bite. He's just like leaning in. He's listening. He wants all the stories from Savage.
Yeah.
And then the waiter brought us coffee. This is where I was like, okay, so it's like the end of the meal. I assume since he's bringing coffee. So they're pitching him what they want, and then he points out, he's like, I'm interested. I'll do whatever. And I'm ordering my coffee to finish my second glass of a smoky Merlot, and I'm like, I was like, I don't know. I was like, did he think he was supposed to be drinking the coffee?
Yeah.
This is where then I'm like, did he have a meeting like this with somebody where coffee was brought and he was like, I don't want coffee. I want to keep drinking. I don't like. Who cares? I was really fun. I was like, wait. Chekhov's coffee. Look, it got brought out, and then like a paragraph later, it gets ignored. It's almost like this means something to him.
But I love at this point, Vince, his voice lowered to a conspiratorial pitch.
Yeah,
Michael, I'm going to take you into my confidence.
I do like that.
So they say, we got a spot for you because last week one of our jobbers got his neck broken by Rand Stiffer.
Yeah, they want him to shoot on a guy.
They want him to shoot. And
by the way, they say, we've seen your matches. We know you're a good shooter.
Yeah,
and you can take this guy out. And I was like, he's never brought up, like, except for I think the first one he says he tries a move he wasn't expecting. And so he like just straight up lifts him or whatever. Yeah. I think, right? I don't think he's ever mentioned outside of that. Like,
he had to shoot in school.
Yeah, remember? He knows. Like, yeah, the guy's like, fight back.
That's a shoot.
And
he says, "You want me to be a policeman?" He's the Dennis Stamp.
But yeah, they go. Which then I'm thinking, is he saying that they wanted him to be the Diesel to the Bob Backlund, or something like that? Like a similar, like, which that wasn't a shoot day second thing, but it was like a squash over like a real fighter guy. Which I like that all the guy, like the Randy Savage guys, like, I would do it, but he'd kill me in my old age.
Yeah, but it says. Vince says to him, "But you're young, very young. Wouldn't you agree, Chuck?" Chuck was busy studying the microscopic holes of varying width that made up the tablecloth's flowery design.
Oh, yeah. So I was like, so Chuck's high. That's it, yeah. I was like, why didn't you just write, Chuck was high?
Yeah.
And didn't respond right away.
But I don't understand why they need him. Why don't they just fire the guy? Because they say the problem is he won't mess with any of the boys who have been here for a while. Well,
I know the scenario presented is insane, where a Vince McMahon level character has to find some scrub from the Southern Territories.
So I don't do a 3-year deal.
To cast, yes, and is like, I just need you to go and look. I just need you to go in on this guy and beat the fuck out of him. Cause look, nobody else will, and he won't beat the fuck. Like, it's somewhere tete-a-tete with these locker room guys. I don't know who to trust. Just go in and beat the shit out of him. He won't. He doesn't mess with the older guys, or the older guys don't mess with him.
Yeah, he says he doesn't mess with the older guys. So,
Okay, so have a young guy. I don't know what's happening. I was like, I read that too. I was like, I don't understand the problem. Other than this guy, does he have a belt? He just won't lose. Don't they say?
No,
I don't think they go into it
they
too
just
much.
said that he broke the guy's neck, ran stiffer.
So he's just doing the thing where in baseball, where if you hit a guy, the team goes, "Oh, well, we're gonna hit one of your guys."
Yeah.
Okay, so he signs a 3-year deal, $70K the first year, 90 the next, 150 the that's an option year.
That's an option here.
That's an option year.
But he didn't get merchandise.
Yeah, he does. And then he just kind of goes, it's my understanding that the guys that do make a lot of money at 20%. It's like, all right, so you're a moron. I don't know what to... So then he says, I later found out, in my very southern meetings, the fireplace was gas activated. The spines of the classics were merely shells. They're fake. And the fish in the tank died every week getting replaced.
Real punchline.
But all he knew was that he was on his way to becoming the world champ.
Yeah.
I think this would have been the greatest book club ever if I had remembered to hit record from the beginning.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Unfortunately, all of that's lost to time. It was just as great as that prior sesh with Shauna, him wincing out, Pat Patterson confirmed story. Was not nice to ring boys, allegedly, according to Ben Peller, from what he heard. He's zonking out on...
Barry Orton told him that.
Dude, he definitely shared it. He definitely shared probably in the WWF right before he went on Donahue.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then the only thing, Gus would have made it a better...
Yeah.
I can't even remember what we said about Gus, but it was endearing.
Something about the frosty Chicago air in the morning.
Yeah. And it was endearing.
And the Midwestern, the thick red line.
Well, okay. I see why we're focusing on this. The ring curtains are the thick red line.
Right.
Which he talks about. In the Midwest, according to Ben Peller, there's a thin red line between sanity and reality.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the curtains are thick just because curtains are thick. But wouldn't it also just... He could have... I'm sure he was trying to, but he could have just had both. And just brought up the thin red line again and been like, that's reality and that's insanity.
But I don't think that's a Midwestern saying either way.
It's not. And so it's like, then it was like...
Yeah, but it's still a force, yeah.
You just brought up the thick red line chapters earlier. Just bring it back. Have a through line.
Yeah, sure.
Thin red through line. Why are you making up a saying now? Yeah. We already established that you have this whole... You've already done it. You've done the work.